Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So everybody knows what we have upon us, right? We have this huge, mega, super fight on the horizon. It's right at our feet. We have unified welterweight champion Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. versus WBO welterweight champion Terence "Bud" Crawford. And these guys are going to meet up inevitably for undisputed by the end of this year, 2022. This is the only fight for Terence Crawford. This is the only fight for Errol Spence. This is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. Definitely one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing over the last 20 to 30 years. But it's the biggest fight since Mayweather and Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? This is a fight that everybody want to see, any real boxing fan, and you got the casual fans that actually want to see this fight as well. You know, so I'm just extremely excited that this fight is a realistic thing now. It's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? I'm still hearing people, arguing online about, man, Errol Spence, he took too long. He was ducking Terence Crawford, even though he said he was going to get all the belts and then fight Terence Crawford for undisputed. The man said he was going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you still got people, oh my God, man, Errol Spence, he took too long, man. And then motherfuckers say, man, I don't think the fight gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? All these old, pessimistic, old, frail ass, timid ass mindsets. You know what I'm saying? These old feminine ass mindsets. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out to the queens that cover boxing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about these men out here acting like that. You feel me? Like, damn, the fight is here now. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about no purse splits. I don't want to hear nothing about no who was ducking. The fight is gonna happen. Both of these guys then came out and said that's the only fight that they want next. Man, sit your little crybaby ass down somewhere and let the fight happen. Goddamn, quit crying all the damn time. The fight gonna happen, bro. It's here. You dig what I'm saying? So look, I think both of these guys are great. You feel me? I think Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. is that guy. He the king of 147 right now. He the man in the division. But he gonna have to defend that crown, and he gonna have to make a statement versus Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, arguably the pound for pound best fighter on the planet right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think that this fight right here is gonna leave no debate as to who is not only the king at 147, becoming undisputed, having all the titles with the ring belt on the line. You feel me? The first 4-belt era undisputed champion at welterweight. Remember, Errol just fought in only the 12th unification match in welterweight history. Think about that. Only 12 unifications in the history of the division. This is some huge shit. So not only will this fight leave no doubt as to who is number one at welterweight, but this fight will determine who is the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's no debate. Now, Canelo Alvarez, great fighter, excellent fighter, doing his thing. Now on my pound for pound list, it's just my personal pound for pound list. I don't put drug cheats on my list. I don't put guys on there who have failed drug tests, who have a history of being, suspected drug cheats and actually failed tests. I don't put those guys on my list because I can't trust you. You know what I'm saying? And there's other reasons, other things in the way he moves and stuff like that that'll make you be like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I can't respect that. However, you gotta respect the skills. And Canelo Alvarez, just skill for skill. You take the drug cheat shit out. If you just look at the eye test, the skill, the ability, he's undoubtedly one of the top 5 best fighters in the sport of boxing today. That's a fact. However, even if you take all that, the extra shit out, this fight right here, even if you're gonna include a guy like Canelo Alvarez, there is no debate after this fight who is the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. There is nobody in the sport of boxing right now who has one single better win than beating Errol Spence, who is now unified champion, 3 belts at welterweight, or beating Terence Crawford, who is a 3-division champion, was undisputed at 140, and now a champion at 147, arguably the pound for pound best fighter on the planet right now. Nobody in boxing will have a better win than beating Spence or beating Crawford, let alone Errol Spence having the best resume at welterweight. Probably I ain't even gonna say probably. I'm gonna step out on a limb and say welterweight is the most talented division in boxing. You know what I'm saying? If every division had a gauntlet or a tournament, like you had to go to a tournament like the Super 6, I think the hardest division to get out of would be welterweight, because it's so many motherfucking dogs. It's so much talent, so much skill and ability in that division. So for Errol Spence to have the best resume in the best division in boxing, you know what I'm saying? That's huge. And then on top of that, he beats Terence Crawford. Can you even debate that? Canelo ain't fought nobody on the level of Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, and he ain't beat nobody like that. What he did, he fought Floyd Mayweather, but he got beat. You know what I'm saying? I already seen the man lose. He done already got beat, and he ain't beat nobody on the level of Errol Spence or Terence Crawford pound for pound. The only reason I'm putting Canelo up there because he's the only other guy. Now I have Usyk. Right now, on my latest list, I had him ranked number 1. That's because he was undisputed at cruiserweight, and he went up and he beat a heavyweight in Anthony Joshua. Now he holds 3 titles up there. But even his win over Joshua wouldn't stack up to Errol Spence win or a Terence Crawford win for undisputed. Even that, his resume wouldn't stack up to this. The only other guy that you can think of is Canelo Alvarez. So I don't think either of those guys would have a better win than beating Crawford or beating Spence. And you look at Terence Crawford's resume again. Yeah, he might have fought a lot of guys who was on their last leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being real. But you got to look at the fashion that he did it in. He done knocked out 9 of his last opponents straight. You feel me? 3-division champion, undisputed at 140, very dominant in every fight. I don't think there has ever been a fight that Terence Crawford has had where the consensus or the majority of people thought it was a 50-50 fight. There's fights that I thought he had that I believed was going to be competitive going into it, like the Kell Brook fight, like the Sean Porter fight. And before those fights got stopped, before Terence Crawford handled his business, I think Terence Crawford is the best finisher in boxing. Those fights were actually competitive. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I don't think there has ever been a Terence Crawford fight where people thought, damn, this 50-50. You know what I'm saying? When Earl fought Kell Brook, they was like, oh, that's 50-50. A lot of people was picking Ugas just now. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at their resumes and their track records, and then on top of that, one of them coming out on top in this particular matchup and becoming undisputed, I think it speaks for itself. These guys are not only fighting for undisputed, they fighting to be the face of boxing. They fighting to be that one that carried the torch. You dig what I'm saying? They fighting for legacy. They fighting for everything. Everything is going to go up for the winner in this fight. And you know what? The loser, they shit going to elevate too. That's how great this fight is. Now, we all know that I'm picking Errol Spence Jr. to win this fight. I think both guys are extremely skilled. Both of them dogs. Both of them got that killer mentality. Both of them willing to bite down on their mouthpiece and go to war if it come down to that. You dig what I'm saying? But styles make fights. I love Errol Spence's style versus Terence Crawford's style. You know, a lot of times you will take the boxer over the come forward fighter. But the thing is, even though Terence Crawford isn't your average counterpuncher or average outboxer, Errol Spence is for sure not your average pressure fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take a guy who I think can use his style and his skill set to a higher level, and I'm going to take the tendencies of Errol Spence over Terence Crawford, the high work rate, over a guy who likes to sit back and counterpunch. You know, because I feel like if Terence Crawford can't hurt Errol Spence, he going to get broken. His will is going to get broken. Either he going to lose on the cards or he going to get stopped. That's how I see it. I've said in my breakdowns previously that I don't see that fight going 12 rounds, but if it does go 12 rounds, I'm taking Errol Spence because Errol Spence is going to be winning rounds. He know how to put rounds together and be the aggressor and control the pace of the fight and make a motherfucker fight at his pace, and I simply don't think Terence Crawford can keep up. You know what I'm saying? If he can't hurt Errol Spence, if he can't make Errol Spence doubt himself with hard shots and with accuracy and power, if he can't make Errol Spence stop coming forward and discourage him, he gonna get his ass beat. He gonna get crushed. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the brother, the real Marlo TV. He pointed out something, you know, that even in the Kell Brook fight, how Terence Crawford was having troubles dealing with the jab from a guy with shorter reach in Kell Brook in the first 2 rounds. That fight didn't last long, and Terence Crawford eye was swole up. You know what I'm saying? His shit was cut up and, you know, swole up and shit just off of 2 rounds of the jab. Imagine what Errol Spence gonna do. You see Errol Spence crushing motherfuckers' eyes out here and you just bruising you up. That's what he do. He might not have just amazing one-punch knockout power with speed and velocity that catch you when you ain't looking and shit, but consistent hard shots will bruise your motherfucking ass up, and you gonna have to quit. Your corner gonna have to stop it, or the ref or the doctor gonna have to stop it. It's gonna be an accumulation of ass whooping. That's what we call it. It's an accumulation of ass whooping. He don't just knock motherfuckers out. He can, and he can outbox you too. But what Errol Spence looking to do when he get in that ring with you, he looking to put on an accumulation of ass whooping. Just beating your ass into the point where your will gonna get broke. You gonna have to bow down. You gonna have to take a knee. You gonna have to do something to get your ass up out of there. Somebody gonna have to stop it. That's what Errol Spence do. And I think it ain't gonna be no different with Terence Crawford. There's gonna be some challenges because Terence Crawford is so skilled on setting up traps, you know, counter punching, running guys into shots. You know what I'm saying? And I think he gonna hit Errol with some shit. You know, but I think Earl gonna eat them motherfuckers and keep on coming. That's how I feel. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Do y'all agree that the winner of this fight will be #1 pound for pound in the world? No debate. Or do y'all think it's gonna be somebody else? Y'all let me know, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.